Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. And what a week it was last time out there. Wins over Newcastle, followed up with that big win at the weekend over Getafe. And today we're going to be reacting to what we saw at the weekend. It was a very strong, it was a very comfortable performance from Barca. We've also got so much more as well, though, to cover in today's video. The 2025 Ballon d'Or is upon us, and even outside of Barca, it's exciting right now. I mean, we've got Jan Virgile really impressing for Mallorca, and there's more goals to discuss from Ansu Fati. It is all on the way, guys, so come on, and let's do this. Now, today's video is coming to you courtesy of the One Football app, which is absolutely one of my essentials here in terms of staying up to date with everything that is going on the football scene. As you can see right here, Barca against Getafe. I want to see more of you guys getting involved here in the player of the match voting. Yesterday it went to, and probably deservedly so, to Ferran Torres, but what I'm seeing here is quite a few votes for Getafe players, so we need to make sure that we are very much voting in favour of our Barca boys. And I also really enjoy here the interactive features over on One Football. First of all, their player ratings. I mean, they've got absolutely no chill when it comes to the player ratings, but have a look at this right here. I love the heat maps there. I love to see exactly where the players are, you know, where are they operating in, where did they do most damage. Look at Pedri. I mean, he is influential in every single area of the field. 91 out of 98 passes completed yesterday, and so many of those were decisive ones, of course, guys. So please, if you want to stay updated, if you want the best football experience on your phone with an app, please do download One Football for free using the link down below, and I'm absolutely sure you're going to enjoy it. But if we do then begin by talking about the player of the match himself, Ferran Torres, who did score two absolutely fantastic goals there against Getafe, and really great finishes from Ferran. You've got to say the first one was so nicely timed, brilliant backheel that it was from Dani Olmo to set it up, but really good finish from Ferran. And I like the second one as well. You know, he didn't panic, he's in a good position here. The goalkeeper, he just spots him a little bit over to his right and just slots it there in the near post. And Ferran right now, he's on 4 goals in La Liga, only 1 behind Mbappe in the Pichichi race. So he has had a really strong start in La Liga. He's scoring goals. The incredible thing about Ferran is that he could easily be on, you know, I want to say double that amount. I genuinely think, you know, if Ferran put away all the chances that came his way, he's such a good mover. He gets in great positions there. He's got a great understanding of the game. He could be on a huge amount of goals right now, but still, he's had a great start to the season. And after the game, he spoke a little bit about Getafe. He basically said that Getafe are a difficult team to face. They always commit so many fouls. And in Ferran's words, he said, they don't really offer anything. In terms of actually playing football, they don't offer anything, in my opinion. Now, Getafe did not like those words. Bordalas came out after the game. He said that Ferran was very disrespectful in what he said. But what I would say personally to Jose Bordalas is that I find your attempt at playing football disrespectful. I think Ferran there is absolutely on the money. We saw it yesterday with Getafe, even 2-3-0 down. They're just hacking away at our players. I mean, it's absolutely awful to watch, but yeah, we dispatched them easily, 3-0, and Ferran was a huge part of that. I would also like to give and sort of pay some real attention here to Eric Garcia, guys, because yesterday we saw him deployed at centre-back. We also saw him actually over to the left-hand side as well for a portion of the game. And I think it's quite incredible what Hansi Flick has done with Eric Garcia since arriving to the club. He's put a lot of trust in him. You know, don't forget, it wasn't all that long ago that Eric Garcia, he was being linked away. Even he was thinking, maybe I should move on from Barca. He was close to actually signing for Como. Hansi Flick stepped in. He said, no, I don't want that to happen. I need Eric Garcia as part of my squad. I can see him having a really important role here. And look how he's performing this season. He's so versatile. I mean, we're only a few games in. He's played in about 3 or 4 different areas of this team, and he's playing very well in all of them. So Eric Garcia, he's proved his worth to Hansi Flick. He values him massively in his squad. And that's a testament, really, to what Hansi Flick has done with so many of these Barca players. Because I think you'd have to say the same. I think you really, really would right now about Gerard Martin. I mean, when Flick first came into the club, and of course he was playing Martin, a lot of us were thinking, well, what is he seeing there? Is there a player in there? Is there something that you can really extract? But Flick, you've got to say, he sticks to his guns. He's not going to be guided. He's not going to be influenced there by anyone. And he clearly saw a player in Gerard Martin. And look at him now. I think he's done very, very well since Alejandro Balde has been out injured. We weren't feeling good about that injury to Balde. We were worried about the games that we'd have to come without him. But Gerard Martin has stepped in. He's stepped up and he's played very, very solidly as well. And again, you've got to give credit to Hansi Flick in terms of that man management, in terms of that belief that he's having in all of these players at Barca. He's giving them confidence. He's giving them the opportunity to believe in themselves and ultimately become the players that they clearly can be. Because speaking of belief and confidence, let's move on here to talk about Marcus Rashford, who of course wasn't in the starting lineup. And I've got to be honest, I was disappointed about that. Given the fact that he scored 2 against Newcastle, you'd want him there, you'd want him to follow up on that kind of display. But he was a bit late to the activation session. And again, it's a testament really of the standards that Flick sets. He sets those standards and nobody is exempt from them. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you did in the last game. If you are late, if you do not hold yourself at those high standards, you will suffer the consequences. But look, when Rashford came on, they had a bit of a smile, him and Flick, before he came on. He sort of said, look, no hard feelings, go on now and do your job. And that's what Rashford did. The attitude was absolutely brilliant, and he looks like a guy in form. He looks like a guy right now with real confidence in his game. I thought it was a great assist to Dani Olmo there. The way that he gets his head up, he's got to be really patient, actually, in waiting for Olmo to make that run. He could have gone for goal himself. He could have had a go from a tight angle there, but instead he gets his head up, unselfish play, slots it into Olmo, and Barca have a 3-0 lead. And that was really, really nice. But can I just say, that's not the best thing he did. And certainly in terms of Hansi Flick here, that is not the action that would have pleased Flick most, because it would have been this one. Because look at the time on the clock here. Look at the scoreline. 86th minute, 3-0 Barca. But look who's tracking back. Look who is working hard there, sprinting in the final minutes to go and win the ball back. And he does, by the way. Really strong, really, really courageous tackle. Rashford wins the ball back for Barca in his own half. This is what Hansi Flick wants to see. He wants to see that work rate, that hunger from every single player. And don't forget, by the way, this is a player that Ruben Amorim called out very, very publicly for being lazy. He said that Rashford didn't work hard enough. Amorim actually said that he'd rather have a goalkeeping coach in his team than Rashford. How's that working out for you now? Luckily here, though, Rashford is under Flick's leadership now. He is a motivated man, he is a confident man, and we are enjoying all of the benefits that is bringing Barca. However, guys, there was a little bit of concern here right at the end of the game against Getafe. Right the way through the match, we were all thinking, are we going to get through this unscathed? Are we going to come out with no injuries? That would be an absolute miracle against this Getafe team. But yeah, Fermin, right at the end of the game, after the final whistle, actually, he went down with a bit of a problem. And there was some real concern after the match from Barca. They were quite pessimistic about the injury. They weren't quite sure, is it going to be a serious one? Is it going to be one here that really damages us? But this morning, Fermin underwent more medical tests at the club, and the results have now confirmed it's a 3-week absence for Fermin, which, can I say straight away, that is a lot better than I think the club were initially anticipating here. We don't want to lose any player for 3 weeks, but at the same time, that is a whole lot better than missing somebody for month upon month here. So Fermin, he did pick up that knock. It is going to be a bit of an absence. Right now, you're looking at the fixtures that we have to come. There are a few tough ones in there. He's going to miss probably around 4 matches in total. He's basically going to return after the next international break in October. I know another international break is coming only next month. It's ridiculous, but hey, this is what we're dealing with right now. So Fermin is going to be out for those games. Disappointing, of course. He's had a strong start to the season. He's put in some really big performances. But what I would just say here again, regarding that squad depth, regarding having players who are ready to step up, and this is another player out. It's not ideal. It's not what we want. but it means another door is opening. It means here somebody else gets an opportunity to shine and come into the team. Say, Dani Olmo. This is another chance here where a player is going to get an opportunity. He's got to take advantage of that opportunity. And you look at him in yesterday's game, Dani Olmo. I thought it was a big one for him. He needs to get something going. He's somebody right now that needs to find that confidence again. And ultimately that sharpness. He's a player that you associate with all the neat and tidy touches in and around the penalty area. So good in his link up and his combination play. You want to get all of that sharpness and that confidence back in his game. And in front of goal too, we know that he can score more and more and more goals. So good to see him yesterday, getting on the score sheet, getting an assist as well. Beautiful back heel, like I say. And if Fermin is to be out, it will be on Olmo to make sure that he steps up. However, guys, that is not the end right now of the injury updates here, because there has been another big decision taken by the club this morning, and they have officially told us now that Gavi will actually be undergoing arthroscopic surgery on Tuesday in order there to, they say, guarantee the best possible recovery from this knee pain that he's suffering. And I've got to say, guys, that's a big surprise to me, because only a few days ago we were hearing in the media that Gavi'd improved, that he had gotten a lot better, that discomfort might have been going away. But I think really this is a sign of it was a day-to-day thing. One day it might have been a bit better, it might have been improved, but the next day maybe the pain was back, maybe the discomfort was there again. And I think that's the problem right now. We want that to go away. We don't want it to be something that lingers here. We don't want it to be something where he can play a game, but then he's in pain, then he's out again, and then he can come back. I think we want some sort of resolution here, and this has been a decision that they gave Gavi time. We went and assessed and seen how he was recovering, how he was feeling day to day. But I think it's come a point now where Barca are saying, right, okay, we need to take some action. We tried the conservative method. It hasn't really gone as expected, and now he will undergo what is minor surgery, guys. Let's not blow this out of proportion. You might see, news headlines here saying, oh, Gavi going in for big surgery on that knee. It is a minor procedure that hopefully now will help him recover and return. We're looking at hopefully weeks, I believe, on this, but we're going to hear more from the club after that surgery has been done, and let's hope everything goes fine. We want to see Gavi back, and best of luck to him. However, guys, of course, right here today, it is a big day in terms of the Ballon d'Or 2025. And yeah, so far we know that Real Madrid will not be attending the ceremony. The reason for that is because they are still crying over last year, and we are still waiting, by the way, 1 year on for Vinicius Jr. to do it 10 times more. More on that as we get it. But according to the bookmakers here, in terms of the big award, the Ballon d'Or, Dembele right now is the overwhelming favourite. Now, in terms of the odds, it's difficult to know if we should read anything into that. They have Dembele massive favourite. You think, okay, do they know something? Does somebody know something? Has something been leaked? Or other times, though, they can get it completely spectacularly wrong. Because I would also just say the odds did change slightly. I have been paying real attention to these. They moved in favour a little bit of Yamal when it was announced that PSG will play their suspended match against Marseille tonight. It was called off yesterday due to bad weather. They will play it tonight at the same time as the Ballon d'Or is going on, which means that no PSG player will be present at the ceremony, including Dembele, which again, it kind of feels as though this was going to be PSG's big night. If Dembele wins, there's other players in the race for different things as well. Would they have agreed to rearrange that game right here and now? Same time, same day? Did they have any choice in that? We don't know. But then you've got Yamal. He is going to attend the ceremony tonight, not only alongside his family, but alongside 20 members of his family. And again, that just makes me think, maybe it's a little bit delusional. I don't know. Does he know something? Is he sensing something here to bring his whole family along? I mean, probably he just wants to enjoy the night. He wants to soak in all of the atmosphere here. He's very much in the running. It's been a great season for him, of course, last time out. He probably just wants to enjoy the event with his whole family there alongside him. But I'm just interested to see what happens tonight, guys. I would love to see, of course, Lamine Yamal win. It would be absolutely amazing for him, for the club, for the team, of course. It was very much a team effort last season, but Yamal was extraordinary, especially for his age. There's absolutely no denying that. But I would also just like to say, though, if he doesn't win, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world for him. It's not the end of the world for Barca. The most important things remain the team awards. We want to be going for every single title this season. Those are the most prestigious titles that you want want to win in your career. Forget really about individual awards and Ballon d'Ors, but even so, if he doesn't win tonight, he will win in the future. He is too good, he is too talented not to get his hands on this award, and he knows that as well. But guys, who do you think will win tonight? Do you think that it will be Yamal? Will it be something historic at the Ballon d'Or ceremony? Or will it in the end go to Ousmane Dembele? However, guys, we are far from done in today's video, because let's move on right here to talk about Jan Vergile, because remember back in the summer we did effectively sell him to Mallorca for just 3.5 million euros there, but remember in that deal it included not only a buyback option, but we still retained 50% of Jan Vergile's rights. So Barca here are still very much in control of his future, and it should be a player that we are still keeping an eye on. And I mean, even recently, just a few days ago actually, Deco came out and he said, look, Barca Athletic were relegated, Jan Vergile wanted to play in the top division. Mallorca came in, they showed us some really good interest, so we allowed him to leave the club, but we made sure that we retained a buyback option, and Deco said we are going to continue to follow him very, very closely. So make no mistake here, Barca are still keeping an eye on exactly what he is doing, and well, they would have been impressed yesterday. On Sunday here, Mallorca were 1-0 down against Atleti. He came on, Vergile, for the last 10 minutes of the game, and he was extraordinary. Genuinely, guys, the confidence from this young man, it was absolutely incredible. In that 10-minute period, he attempted 5 different dribbles. He completed 3 of them. One of them was an extraordinary nutmeg. And then he assisted their equalising goal in the final minutes of the game. And it was a great assist too. He absolutely whips this cross in. Such power on the ball. And then Marici, we know how good he's been in La Liga. He powers home the header. And he just had an amazing, amazing impact yesterday, Vergile. And I want to see more of this young man. I really, really do. There's so much talent there. I think he probably got a little bit impatient at Barca, but I think understandably he wanted to go and play. He wanted to be at the top level. He clearly believes that he belongs at this level, and let's see what he can do this season for Mallorca, because it's definitely not ruled out that in the future Barca have every single possibility of getting this young man back. Which indeed brings us perfectly onto the topic of another player we are keeping a very close eye on. And this one again, it just brings a massive smile to my face, because Ansu Fati, fresh from scoring on his Champions League debut on Thursday for Monaco, came on against Club Brugge, scored a really good goal, good finish there from the edge of the box. Now he came on Sunday for Monaco. It was at half-time, the score was very finely poised there at 1-1 in the game. And he had an instant impact. And I mean instant. He literally came on moments after his introduction and he scores. And it's a great goal, and it really, really is here. He's very clever. He's in a great position. He's in the 6-yard box, making that nice run into the penalty area. Right place, right time. And he gets himself on the score sheet. But yeah, then Monaco go and concede. They concede again, so it's 2-2 then. And Ansu Fati's got to come up with something else to win the game for them. And boy, does he do that. Because yet again, you notice him in this more central area. Because the cross comes in, he gets up so well. This is a terrific header. And just look at him. This is absolutely amazing to see. Not only about the goals, not only about him playing in this different kind of central role here, really making sure that he's able to be in the box and be able to score these kinds of goals, but look at the celebrations. Look what these moments mean to this young man, with how much he has gone through, with how many tough moments he has had to emerge from. Look at what these goals mean to him, and I'm delighted for him, because yeah, it has taken a bit of time here to get going at Monaco, to actually make his debut. They've been really, really careful with him, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. I'm really liking the plan here from Monaco, the way they've introduced him just very, very gradually, and he's looking confident. He is looking like a man here who's feeling good in himself, in his body. He's taking up nice positions, he's getting good opportunities in front of goal, and we know he can finish. We know that he is a very, very good finisher. But just a reminder, guys, on this, Monaco have, and they will have this season, an option to buy Ansu Fati for 11 million euros. And I always thought this season, we're going to get into this really sort of conflicted situation whereby you want Ansu to impress, you want him to go there and recapture his absolute best level, to see him scoring all of these goals. But then at the same time, there may come a point now, if he continues on this kind of trajectory with these kinds of goals, there will come a point where that 11 million buy option, it starts to look like a bargain. You know, if he starts firing again, if he plays a lot of games, scores a lot of goals, I mean, they're going to snap up that 11 million without any questions asked at all. But it's just going to be interesting to see what happens throughout this season. It's great to see Ansu doing well. It's great to see him, above all else, with a big smile on his face. And guys, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below here. Looking at what Ansu is doing, what do you make of that? What are your feelings on that? Can you see Monaco looking to keep him at the club beyond this season? And also let me know your thoughts on Jean Vergile, on the Ballon d'Or, and on everything we saw from Barca against Getafe on Sunday. I thank you all for tuning in here today. A big shout out as well to OneFootball. Please do make sure that you're heading down to the description and downloading the app for free here today. I really appreciate all the support, and I will see you soon. But until next time, guys, as always, Veshka, El Barça.